Welcome back, guys. So I'm gonna be playing Gunbird 2, and it's another Saikyo game. So if you guys were here for Strikers 1945 2, you'll know it's kind of the same concept. Just really fast deterministic attacks, but the difference is they replaced the warships and yeah, they replaced all the military stuff with characters.
Yeah, so this is their more manga-inspired series. Saikyo sort of had that shotgun approach where they took the same style of gameplay and applied it to a lot of different visual themes, each time with some suitable alterations to represent the different characters and themes of the game.
Yeah, and this is this might be the quirkiest. Well, maybe not the quirkiest, because there was a game developed by Saikyo called
Space Bomber.
Yeah, Space Bomber. That's what it was called. They called it the UFO game or whatever.
Yeah, Space Bomber is an interesting one for anyone that's curious about Saikyo or just for odd shoot 'em ups. It's one of their lesser known ones because I think it's never made it onto a port or a collection. But it takes it's sort of a parody of Space Harrier.
See, all right. Well, this game comes in second place for quirkiest shmup.
This one is the quirkiest while still having a personality of its own.
All right. Guess I'll get started then.
All right. Good luck.
All right. This is my character of choice.
So here, once again, we have a randomized stage order. And for anyone who wasn't watching during Strikers 1945-2, in each Saikyo game, the first 4 stages are shuffled in order, and they are scaled by difficulty according to that order. So the first stage will always be the easiest, regardless of which stage it is, and the 4th will be the hardest of the 4, regardless of which actual stage you're playing. The difficulty is scaled by the time the player stays alive, and so it will continue to increase throughout the rest of the game. The only mild break that you get from that is after dying, there is some small drop in the difficulty. So Gunbird 2, you can see, uses a similar charge-up bar for the special attack as with Strikers 2. This game came after Strikers 2. I don't think it was the next game that Saikyo made, but it was a few down the line and towards the end of their prolific run in the 90s. This one, I
1998.
think 98, okay. So this one did get some ports. I think that the Dreamcast port is probably the most well-known since it adds Morrigan from the Darkstalkers series. But it's on any of the modern Saikyo collections that are on various console and PC platforms. So Marion is sort of like the main character, seemingly, of the Gunbird series, and I think that she's generally fairly approachable and balanced all around. Is there anything in particular that makes her really good in this one?
She's actually maybe the second worst character, but I can see what they were going for. They were trying to go for a character that on paper is easy to play, because she has homing shots and she has a wide shot also.
That's something of a novice trap.
And I don't know if it was intentional, like, oh, yeah, I don't know if it was intentional where they accidentally made her the second worst character in the game.
It's always something that makes you wonder how intentional these things are. It is difficult to balance a shoot 'em up, though, and especially one that has 6 different characters. And when you're trying to make the characters different from the 8 other games that you've already made with the same formula.
Basically.
So Golden is going for scoring here in this run. I don't think he has a particular score goal, but I know he knows this game very well. And the way that the scoring system works is, again, another element shared with many other Psycho games, which is that there are medals or gold coins that you'll see on the ground, and they spin, and there's a perfect time to collect them, basically when they're facing the screen and shining, to get the max value. And so the scoring system is mostly as simple as picking up as many of those as possible at the max value. I don't think that there's any chaining property to it.
There is a chaining property.
Oh, there is.
Yeah. See the number up on top where it has the number 10 in bold yellow letters.
Okay.
Those are that's your chain. In reality, the scoring system does have a bit of notoriety in that it's difficult to actually chain those coins. But before before coins actually count towards your score, you need to survive extremely well, and that has its own notoriety.
This is another case where for a high score you need to complete both loops of the game.
I should mention I am a bit rusty. So I did prepare for the other games. So
that's, I guess, what happens when you have a whole block to yourself playing these games.
That's what happens. That's also a factor. So yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the Psycho block. I wish I could see the comments.
The Psycho PCB block, no less.
Oh, that's true also.
So Golden is playing both these games on PCB, or original hardware. Psycho PCBs are, well, at least Strikers 1945-2 is one that is fairly well available as these things go, which of course means rare in terms of other video games, but something that you might see at arcades still today or in collections. So here he's fighting the sumo robot. So something that Psycho did with all of their bosses, or a great deal of them, is use 3D renders for graphics. So of course the 90s was a time where the line was straddled between 2D and 3D. And what Psycho did, they really took advantage of being able to use 3D renders. So unlike, say, Cave, who just used it as a shortcut so as not to have to make original sprite artwork anymore, what Psycho did was they made their gimmick transforming bosses. So in the Strikers series, you see machines of war transforming into robots, and in this game, you'll also see some other creations transforming into robots. I think most frequently the bosses transform into robots. It's kind of a running joke about Psycho games. But the reason they did that is to show off the 3D technology and basically make something that is distinct and memorable out of it, which I think they did really well. It's also, backed up by some good sprite work in the rest of the graphics, and also, as I mentioned, some manga-style character artwork. Their games usually did include some amount of dialogue, decreasingly so over the years, but they kept with it in Gunbird too, and a lot of it is pretty funny, actually. It's something that was carried over from the Aero Fighters series that was made by Video System, who were sort of a precursor to Psycho. again, these patterns are very fast, moderately dense, and fairly consistent in terms of player relative space. So there's a lot of tap dodging in these games, a lot of memorization of exactly how to move through and how to time those movements.
I meant to bomb. See, the game's not over yet.
So I take it that this is one where, again, you just get one extend at 600K?
Yeah.
Plenty of resources left remaining. And there are some robots here in this stage that also take advantage of the sort of 3D rendering that I mentioned before. But there are lots of characters and animations in the background that really show that Gunbird was where their heart was in terms of making these games, something that they put everything into. And I think part of the advantage of making games that were only 10 to 15 minutes long, in terms of one loop at least, is that they were able to really densely place content and artwork so that there's no repetition of backgrounds or empty spaces. Everything is really unique and recognizable, and you move between enemy types quite quickly as well.
That's a new scoring tactic, by the way. For those of you who've seen my runs already, I have to bomb here. I hope I don't have to bomb.
So was that a milk?
No, well, you sort of destroying the options for points.
I see. So that's another trope of the scoring systems in these Psycho games. They do tend to have some boss milking, where there are other types of ships that are spawned during the fights. In this case, it was more a matter of destructible parts. So going into stage 6, he's doing well. Plenty of resources to go still. Not too much cost there. In stage 5.
Still a bit of disappointment because normally I'm playing below, but I normally can't.
So these flowers are really reminiscent of Dragon Blaze, which is one of the games they did after Gunbird 2.
Yeah, this came out in '98. I think Dragon Blaze came out in 2000.
2000 or 2001, I'm not sure. And Dragon Blaze is one that takes a fantasy, medieval sort of style, something similar to the Sorcerer Striker Maho Daisak Sin series by Rising.
This boss is not a joke. You're going to get wrecked, I think. So borderline Danmaku, maybe. Oh, you have a big hitbox, so.
Yeah, I didn't mention that, but these games do have I guess what I would call a medium-sized hitbox. It's smaller than the character sprite, but it's not 2 pixels by 2 pixels either. It's probably something like 5 pixels.
the final level. And as you can see, these games are, you know, relatively short. Really short but really hard.
Yeah, they still give you your money's worth, I think. Although, if you're playing on one of the modern ports, you might find it a little bit frustrating because they don't have any practice features or save states or anything like that, which is something that I believe Golden prides himself on being able to play the games without. He's, as I mentioned, playing on PCB, and he practices on PCB as well.
Gunbird 2 and 10 Guy, which are coming up, are exceptions because I use save states. I play on emulation.
Outed. You outed yourself. You could have just let me say that.
Oh, sorry.
Nonetheless, the rank system in this game makes it so that you really will benefit a lot from some sort of save state practice, something that a lot of us do use when playing shoot 'em ups.
Normally I would milk, but I'm low on resources, so it doesn't really... This boss doesn't really count.
There's no lives benefit for milking since you've already got the extend.
And I already lost life, so...
Don't want to take any more chances.
Yeah. It's really hard to milk, believe it or not, because there's a lot of randomness to that boss. Yeah, it's one of those few bosses in Psycho games where there's randomness.
And those are always the scariest ones.
I can show you. Oh yeah, this is the final boss, and you can also milk it. It's probably the biggest milk in the game.
As usual, a ridiculous final boss. And this is...
I'm just gonna do one wave of milking to show you guys. You guys can do the math. So yeah, that's 1cc.
Alright, congratulations.
And I think Pom Pom Switch is maybe the funniest. Because if you guys were reading the lore, she's stuck in her current age, but once you grow up. Alright, now this is where the insanity comes in. This is where the actual game begins.
Alright, how far are you going to take us into loop 2?
I'm hoping near the end of the game.
Let's see it. So as you can see, the bullet speeds have increased dramatically, and the patterns have also become denser than they were on the first loop. It's all the way at the end of the exponential curve of difficulty.
And enemy spawns revenge bullets, so you can't just kill them. You can't just kill them ahead of time because you have to think carefully before you shoot. can't talk right now because of the intensity of this this game. I hate this stage.
The intensity of watching it is even too much for me to talk.
Oh no. I almost got hit. I don't have bombs, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Okay, that's fine. I'm used to playing with only 3 power-ups. Sorry. I'm not fully powered up, so I need to be careful still.
So power-ups do affect the rank in these games, and sometimes some players will intentionally play at a lower power level to take a little bit of the edge off of the difficulty, even though there's obviously a trade-off being made there. With Marion, her spread coverage is almost as good at power level 3 versus power level 4. And the secondary attack is not affected by the character's power level. Alright, looking good here on this boss.
It's not over yet.
Almost ran out of space there.
This is my favorite Loop 2 stage. But it looks like I'm messing up already.
So you can see just how scary things get here. And you no longer have the consolation prize of the game only being 12 minutes long, since now we're 20 minutes deep into the run.
Is actually kind of easy. Maybe that's why I like the stage so much.
I couldn't even see one of those waves of bullets with this the stream quality. Just because it was moving so fast. So point blank strat there for the quick kill.
Not good. I have to use another bomb. Okay, I have no bombs anymore. I'm kind of surprised I made it this far, to be honest.
Wait a minute ago you told me you were gonna get to the end.
Near the end. I should not be milking, but it's whatever. They need to see the excitement.
Oh, if you're not gonna score, why even play? Again, the bullet pattern's so fast here that they barely register on stream.
Okay, my guy right here. Oh. Right, so this is probably going to be the end for me. GG's.
Still playing well in the 2-5, really.
Oh no!
So he's more than halfway into loop 2 here. Died there without a bomb.
This boss is probably the hardest boss in the entire game. You'll see why. Oh, okay. Got right there. GG's.
Nice. Well, still a really good run. 2-5, like I said, more than halfway through, well, more than halfway through loop 2.
GG's equals good Gunbird.
Good Gunbird. G2. GG.
G squared. Alright. So, there you have it, guys. That's Gunbird 2. I'm glad I got to show you guys the insanity of the second loop.
A great demonstration. And Gunbird 2 is, it should be said for those who haven't played, substantially harder than Strikers 1945 2. So it shows just how well Golden knows this game.
Yeah. Although, I shouldn't have lost the life in I forgot where I lost the life. But anyways, I lost the life and I shouldn't have done that because I've been playing this for too long. Alright. Well, let's see.
I think everyone can look forward to more Psycho, this time turned on its side.
Oh, yeah. Oh, literally. Alright. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Yeah, I hope you guys like the silliness of Gunbird 2, and see you in a bit. And thank you, Ghouls, for providing commentary.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, very useful for filling in the dead air, because I'm not good at self-commentating. But
it's difficult for all of us to talk during a live run, but you played well, and I'll say my end thanks to everyone for watching.
Alright, I'll see you in a bit.